Hello and welcome to the social listening segment here on the BDTV Breakfast Show. This is where we get to discuss some of the trending conversations across social media platforms. My name is Elizabeth Musa, and joining me in the studio this morning is, of course, Mr. Obdk Okafor, our very own in-house analyst. Good to have you here again, Mr. Obdk Okafor.
Thank you, as always.
As always, thank you so much for joining us. Let's start off today with a surprising development in the political space in Nigeria, especially in Delta State, where former Delta State Governor and 2023 PDP Vice Presidential candidate Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa has officially joined the All Progressives Congress alongside his successor, Governor Sheriff Oborevwori, and the entire structure of the People's Democratic Party in Delta State. Now, this mass defection was announced on Wednesday following an enlarged stakeholders meeting held at the government house in Asaba. The development marks a significant political shift in Delta State, and this, of course, has been a cause for so much conversation online, on the ongoing conversation that we've been seeing online. Everyone's talking about the mass defection, the mass movement from one party to another in a state where there's supposed to be competition. So we're seeing that the ruling party, people are moving from, so the parties that's supposed to be like the top three, top two, whatnot, and then you're seeing people moving from party to party. In fact, on the top story today on the papers, that was really what was that was the conversation painting the dailies that we had this morning. Also during the big story, we also did speak about it. But let's see the perspective of the social space, and let's see what people are saying about this mass defection online. AB Billion says, with this Nigerian brand of democracy, I think we are better under military rule. No political ideologies or principles. It's all about power, grabbing at all costs with nothing to show for the masses. Absolutely. Ree goes on to say, why will a person in power dump the party that put him in power and go to another one? Is he not supposed to stay till he finishes his tenure before dumping? That's a valid point. Tokwe Peter says, the manner in which Okowa left Atiku immediately after election is quite shameful. I used to think he was an honorable somebody. It made it look like Atiku regretted not picking Wike as his running mate. It's only Obi that remains loyal to Atiku since 2019 till now. And it's very important in politics to just, know where your loyalties lie. Senator says 2027 is going to be very interesting. Tinubu knows North is a no-go area for him, and that's why he wants to put the South on lockdown. What he does not understand is the masses that will vote. Atiku Obi joint ticket will send him packing, and that's how people are reacting to this conversation on social media. But Mr. Okafor, Obdk, can you tell me what your thoughts are on this mass movement from party to party, and then this significant one of Okowa moving?
Okay,
moving from the parties that elected them.
I'll start with a popular Nigerian slang. It shock you.
It shocked me, oh.
If not,
I'm shook.
Nothing should shock you in Nigeria anymore.
I'm very shocked.
If you check, there's a pattern. Everything in life follows a pattern. When PDP was the ruling party in Nigeria, everybody was defecting to PDP. Then somehow in between, Nigerians got tired of PDP and everybody decided to vote Buhari in 20, what was that, the first election that Buhari entered. And then everybody decided to vote Buhari, and then Buhari entered. And then all of a sudden, APC became the ruling party or the main party. One thing we should realize is that the only reason Nigeria always becomes a one-party state is because once a party starts ruling, everybody, instead of them to, nobody wants to be the opposition. Once a party becomes popular, gets prominence, all of a sudden nobody wants to be the opposition. Everybody wants to, tag along until people become tired, people become restless, and then things happen. It's a vicious circle. PDP used to rule at a time, and then people got tired of PDP. Disgruntled elements left PDP, formed another party, and then because keep that back in your mind, there was a time Atiku was in APC. There was a time some of the people in APC were in PDP, and all of them went, and they were in PDP when PDP was the ruling party. Now that APC is the ruling party, all of them have moved to APC. I'm not going to mention names. The only person that has remained in PDP, he is funny because it has one leg in both parties. Is Wike, who is a PDP member, who is a card-carrying PDP member, but supports the Tinubu government. For him, it's not really about who is in government or who is not. It's just about what are the gains? You understand? What can he gain? For him, he's the only PDP member that I know that has gained a lot from the APC government in terms of position, etc. I know people will say this government is trying to be all embracing, but at the end of the day, they'll still want you to join their party. And then I think in the case of Delta State has decided to, follow suit. PDP is currently in disarray. There are a lot of issues. They are still trying to figure out what's going on. And in the midst of all those disarrayment, people are moving to APC. But like I said, one day, now or in the near future, when people become frustrated with APC, they will move to whatever party is trending at that point. I'll use the word trending because I don't know what the other word to use. Now APC is trending, everybody's moving to APC. It might not be APC tomorrow.
And let's talk about the fact that when people say that Nigerian parties, political parties don't have ideologies, what do you have to say about that?
Politics in Nigeria is no longer about ideology. People who have ideologies are not too many anymore. Politics is money and power. You have the power, you have the money.
Right.
And that's just basically it. It's not really about ideology. We are hoping sometime in the future, I can't look into my crystal ball, so I don't know, but sometime in the future, we'll have parties that actually have ideologies that mean something. I know before, see what the problem
apparently
is.
Back in the day, they used to have parties like that, back in the 1980s.
No, funny enough, let me tell you a funny story. You see the likes of Tinubu and some of the President Tinubu and all these people, when they were in Nideco and all those their groups that they are using to fight, they all had ideologies. They all had, they all had things that they really wanted to do to make this country better. But it's as if when they got older, the focus moved away from those ideologies and just moved into, let me be in power, let me be in control, let me, take charge, let me run things, I have the money to do it. And that just became the focus. So I think the focus has been lost a long time ago.
Well, let's move on now to the viral video where the CEO of APC, Onyema, suspended flight operations because of the Nimet strike. Now, APC passengers were informed that the airline had made the decision not to fly due to safety issues. Now, in this video, APC's Chief Executive Officer, Onyema, was heard ordering the cancellation of flight nationwide, with many people praising him for putting the safety of Nigerians and passengers at the forefront. Let's watch this video.
Has NIMET called off this strike?
No, I haven't gotten that update.
If NIMET has not called off the strike, cancel and suspend every APC flight now with immediate effect. People's lives and the safety of our equipment, safety of our crew, safety of people's lives, first and foremost. If any other, I don't want to hear, the vice chairman just called me now and said that we are trying to cancel flights and other airlines are flying. I don't care about that. I just don't care about that. Suspend every APC flight nationwide this moment. We should stop flying. We look at thunderstorm everywhere. Look at the kind of weather we are going into. And NIMET that is supposed to be providing this is on strike, and we are flying. Suspend every APC flight with immediate effect. Until further notice, until that strike is over, suspend it. Safety first. Safety first. In APC, I don't want to hear.
Wow, that's brilliant. That's true leadership in action, if you ask me. just seeing him, just looking at I mean, I don't know who was recording the video, because obviously he knew the video was being recorded, but really it's the fact that he is considering the lives of people more than anything. You know, he was talking about the thunderstorm, talking about the weather, saying, you know what, if they've not called off the strike, then please, we might as well cancel our flights. And I think that sometimes, and no, not just sometimes, as a leader, you have to, you know, put the people forward first. You know, put the needs of the people that you're serving. And then if you are someone like that owns you know, an airline company, you have to think about your customers before even the money that you're going to make. Now, of course, we know that NIMET workers shut down the weather centers at airports, and they also withdrew all their meteorological services nationwide on Wednesday over their welfare. Meanwhile, the airline has announced the resumption of flight operations on Thursday after the NIMET strike was lifted yesterday. So, of course, we understand now that APC has announced the resumption of flight operations on Thursday, which was yesterday, after the NIMET strike was lifted on the day before. But it's just interesting to see when this happened, and just seeing him, you know, just taking into action like that. But let's see some of the reactions that graced the social media space earlier. Now, Solution Slinger says the cancellation was not due to bad weather. It's due to the lack of accredited current and instantaneous weather report for flights from NIMET. Goldie Gemma says, though I cried because I wanted to go home and meet family, but it's still better than not seeing them at all. Chris says, it was only God that saved us yesterday on Ibom Air from Lagos to Abuja on the 6:40 p.m. flight. The turbulence was just throwing the plane around like a roller coaster. We're dropping altitude like stones falling from the sky. Never been so scared in my life. Nice move, Mr. Onyema. Wow, that's all praises and praises. I wanted to say all praises and worship, but I just remember that praise and worship you only go to God. All praise to Mr. Allen Onyema right there.
All I'll just say is this: the man was just marketing a piece. I'm not saying what he's doing is what he did is excellent, but everything was planned, everything was thought through. The viral video was his PR team did an amazing job, and the video went viral, and people the respect for himself, that's Onyema, and for APC went up.
Even and while you know that this thing was recorded, who was recording
that was the whole idea. But apart from the fact that there's a lot of PR and marketing behind it, it was the right decision. It was actually the right decision, it was actually the right move. Why? Because if you don't have proper weather report, you put your passengers, your pilot, and your plane in serious trouble. And he understands that. He's a businessman. He understands that. So he knows the importance of safety. And when it comes to airlines, safety is the key to either growing or crashing your business. And he understands that. And I really appreciate that. But the truth is, that viral video, all he did was just help sell his market.
And he did well.
And apart from the fact that he made right choices, because it was the right choice, it was selling his market. But it also goes to show you something else. It shows you that why in the name of God will, let me look at the NIMET situation. Why in the name of God will government not consider the welfare of people. whose profession, a lot of people depend on what they do. They depend on, almost everyone in this country rely on what NIMET says. Apart from airlines, farmers, builders, almost everybody you can think relies on what the weather is saying at a specific time. People who build roads, so many people rely on them. So I think their welfare should be a priority. In fact, the welfare of everybody should be a priority, but their welfare is just as important as every Nigerian. And you don't have to wait until people's lives are in danger before you feel, okay, let's see what we can do to suit it, not solve it, just like suit it.
Exactly.
And that's the problem. Don't be surprised in the next weeks, months, or who knows, maybe by next year, Nigerian to go on strike again or something. And then we just keep going around. A lot of things in this country are vicious circles where the same thing keeps repeating itself now, tomorrow, next week, and all of that. And it's just sad, but I guess it's the world we live in.
So, but basically for you, you're saying that was just some sort of publicity.
No. I think it's like that thing they say, tell me you're in Nigeria without telling me you're in Nigeria. Tell me you care about the safety of people without telling me. So he didn't do a press conference and say, APC will not fly or release a press statement. He could have done that. Instead, he did a video of him shouting on somebody on the phone. So
that was more emotive. That was more strategic. That was more.
Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Because
that was different as well.
People will respond faster to that than to him coming out and sitting down and saying, "I'll see a press release." People might not really, but when he does that, people react more to emotions, and they could see his emotions in that video.
Yes.
So people connect. That's the idea. So that's why I said his PR marketing team, they did a perfect
They deserve
job.
a raise for this.
No, please, if you can hear me,
wherever they are,
raise their pay. I support.
Also, I'm asking, come get me. All right, thank you so much, Mr. Obdk, for your time this morning on the social listening segment. This is where we bring it to wraps on the BDTV Breakfast Show.